this video, I will show you how to make a stylized tree by using Blender and Unity. We will use Blender to model the tree trunk and leaves. In Unity, we will create the scene, import the tree model, then add material for it. At last, we will make LOD models, then set LOD group in Unity. I use Blender 2.83 to model the tree, use Unity 2019.4 to display the model, use Photoshop 2019 to make the leaf texture. Although here I use Unity engine to display the asset, it's really easy to import it into Unreal Engine. After open Blender, we need to create an empty scene. Here we click File, New, General. There are some default objects inside the general scene. We need to delete them. Press A to select them all, then press X. There will be a pop-up window. Ask us to delete selected objects. Click Delete to delete all selected objects, then we get an empty scene. Next, let's create trunk and branches of the tree model. Here we will use a Blender plugin. Click Edit Preferences. Click Add-ons. Search tree, we will see a plugin named Add Curve Sampling Tree Gen. Activate. Then we back to the scene wheel and press Shift A. Choose Curve Sampling Tree Gen. Now we get tree trunk model. Open the inspector at left down corner. We can change its properties here. First, let's change the resolution of the tree in Geometry Settings. Set bevel resolution to 0, curve resolution to 1. We don't need too much faces of the tree trunk. Choose branch splitting in Settings. Then set base splits to 0. Change the second input field of branches to 8. Change the first input field of curve resolution to 3. Now we get the model of tree trunk and branches. From right side layer views, we can see the tree object is still a curve but not mesh. We need to click Object Convert to. Then choose Mesh from Curve. Click it. Now we convert the tree to a mesh. We can press middle mouse button to rotate the wheel. Press Shift and middle mouse button to drag the wheel. Next, let's create the leaves. Press Shift A to create a sphere. Click Mesh, UV Sphere. We can tap G to move object. Tap S to scale it, tap R to rotate it. If you want to move it in single direction, you can tap G, then tap Z. It will only move in Z axis. Tap G, then tap X, it will only move in X axis. If you want to move it in XY plane, you can tap G, then tap Shift Z. It will only move in XY plane. Same way, when you scale it, tap S, then tap Z. It will only scale along Z axis. Tap S, then tap Shift Z. It will scale in XY plane. Now let's put the sphere on the branches. We will use it to make leaves. Press Shift D to duplicate it. Okay, then we deform these spheres. We will use sculpt tools in Blender. Switch to sculpt mode, then choose grab brush. We can change the brush size and strength by right-clicking the mouse. Next, let's create the leaf. Press Shift-A. Click Mesh Plane to create a plane. Change its size to 0.5 meters in the left-down property list. Press Shift-D to duplicate the plane. Type R, then type X, then input 90 to rotate it 90 degrees around X-axis. Press Shift-D to duplicate again. Type R, then type Z, input 90 to rotate it 90 degrees around the Z-axis. Then press Shift and select the three planes. Press Ctrl-J to merge them to one mesh. Change its name to Leaf. Next, we will attach the leaf on these models. We're gonna use particle settings. Click first sphere. Click its particle properties. Click plus here to create a new particle settings. Here we choose hair. Check advanced here. Under emission, set the particle number to 100. Set the hair length to 0.9 meters. Lower down the segments. Under render, set render as from path to object. Set scale to 1. Under object, select instance object to the leaf we just created. In this way, we can see the leaves have already attached on the models. Then check the rotation here. Set orientation axis to normal, give it a randomness. We can change the random seed here to get our desired distribution. Then we need to copy the particle settings to other models. First select the target object, then press Shift to choose the model which already has particle settings. Click the particle specials here, choose Copy Active to selected objects. Now we can see the particle settings have been copied to the target object. But if I change the particle number here, we can see both two objects will be changed. Because there has a link between the two objects' particle settings, we need to click Make a single user copy to break the relation. Now when I change its particle number, another object will not be impacted. Change the particle number according to the model size and try to modify the random seed. Other models are all the same way. Copy the particle settings to them. Then we repeat above actions, copy particle settings, break the relations, change particle number and seed. Next, convert these particles to meshes. Click the first sphere here. Click its modifier properties. We can see here has a particle settings. Click Convert button. Now the particles convert to meshes and they are all be selected. One thing we need to do here is click Object, Relations, Make Single User, Object and Data. If we don't do this, when we merge them together, it will look like a terrible mess. We need to break the link before merge them. Click Object, Relations, Make Single User, Object and Data. Then we press Ctrl to choose the first particle, then press Ctrl J. They will be merged to the first particles. For other spheres, we do the same things. We can right-click the Make Single User option, choose Add to Quick Favorites, then we can tap Q to use this option. Now the leaves normal towards all directions. For a stylized tree, we want the leaves shadow look smooth. We need to copy a sphere's model to current leaves. Let's create a sphere model first. Type number 1 in number board to switch look wheel. Then press Tab, go to Edit mode. Switch to Where Edges View. It's convenient for us to select the faces at the back of the sphere. We can tap A one time to select all, tap A double times to deselect. Left-click, then drag to select half side of the sphere. Tap X, then choose Faces in the pop-up inspector to delete bottom of the sphere. Tap S to scale the half sphere. Tap G, then tap Z to move it along the Z-axis. Make sure it includes all the leaves. Let's merge the leaves together. Press Shift, then choose all the leaves, then press Ctrl J to merge them all. We need to make sure check Auto Smooth Normals under Object Data Properties, otherwise we cannot do normal copy. Rename the merged leaves to leaves. Click Modifier Properties, choose Data Transfer. Check Face Corner Data here. Click Custom Normals. Choose the half sphere as the source object. Click Apply button. Rename the sphere to Normal Sphere. Rename the tree trunk to Trunk. Hide the normal sphere. Next, we create material for the leaves. Click Material Properties, then click New to create a new material. Name it to Leaf. Add a material for Trunk 2. Name it to Trunk. Then we select the leaves. Change its material properties. Select Shader Editor here. Inside the Shader Editor, press Shift A. Click Search in the pop-up window. Input image to create an image texture node. Connect image nodes alpha to materials alpha. Press Shift A, click Search, input RGB to create a color node. Connect its output to base color. Choose a green color. Switch to Material Display mode here. Next, we need to create a texture for the leaf. Notice that the background of the texture need to be transparent because we will use alpha clip to keep leaf. I will show you what I did here. Just draw a sphere then deform it in Photoshop. Then export the texture as a PNG file, import into Blender. In the image node, choose the texture. We can see the leaves have black background. In Material Properties and Settings, change Blend Mode to Alpha Clip. OK, next we will export the model to Unity. Create a new Unity project. Create a new folder, name it to Models. Press Ctrl D to duplicate it, rename it to Materials. Press Ctrl D to duplicate again, rename it to Textures. Go to Materials folder, create a new material, name it to Skybox. Use Ctrl D to duplicate it, rename it to Ground. Create a plane as ground. Set its position in Y direction to 0. Drag the ground material to the plane, change its color here. Change Skybox Materials shader here. Change it to Skybox Procedural. Change Material Properties. I have done this before. I will use my values here. Click Window, Rendering, Lighting Settings. Change skybox material to the material we just created. Under Environment Lighting, change Source to Use Gradient, then modify the color of sky, equator, and ground. I will use these values because I have done this before. Change the ground color again. Here I have already exported the leaf texture to the Textures folder. Back to the Blender Export Models. Press Ctrl to select leaves and trunk. Click File, Export FBX. Choose Mesh and Object Types, which means we only want to export mesh. Check Selected Objects here because we only want to export objects we selected. Apply Scaling, choose FBX Unit Scale. Check Apply Transform. Click Export FBX. Back to Unity, drag the model we just exported to the scene. Enlarge the ground. Tap E to rotate mode when we select a game object. Go to Material folder, create two materials, leaf and trunk. Let's prepare the trunk material first. Drag the trunk material to the tree trunk model. Then drag the leaf material to the leaves model. Create a surface shader for the leaf material. Right-click, choose Create Shader Standard Surface Shader. Rename it to Leaf. Let's do some changes of the shader code. First, remove these no-use properties. Then change render type to transparent cutout. Close backface culling. Change standard light model to Lambert. We will use Lambert light model. After change light model to Lambert, we need to remove the standard surface, rename it to surface output. Then we need to define add shadow here. At last, we will add clip alpha minus 0.5, which means discard the pixels whose alpha lower than 0.5, only keep the leaf. Drag the shader to the leaf material. Go to Leaf Material Properties. By locking the inspector window, make sure the content will not change when we select other game objects. Drag the leaf texture to the material. Change the leaf's color. Click Window, Package Manager. Input Post in Search field, find Post Processing. Click Install. One more thing is we need to go to Edit, Project Settings, Player, change color space from gamma to linear. Select main camera to add post-processing component. Don't forget cancel the lock here. Click Add Component, choose Post-Processing Layer, choose Everything and Layer. For anti-aliasing, we choose TAA. Then add Post-Processing Volume, check its global here, click New to create a new profile. Click Add Effect to add Bloom effect, change its parameters. Then add color grading, choose ACES mode for tone mapping, change its parameters. Add vignette effect. Done. Let's check the result. Finally, we will make LOD for the tree. Press Ctrl, select trunk and leaves. Tap M to create a new collection, name it to LOD0. Now the leaves and trunk will be put to the new collection. Next, let's make LOD1. Here, let the particle number divide 2. Let the hair length multiply 1.5. Do the same actions for other models. Then we need to use the methods before to convert these particles to meshes and merge them together. Rename leaves to leaf LD0 and leaf LD1. The trunk also needs LOD. I will not make it here. It's really easy, you can do it by yourself. I will duplicate the trunk in LD0 to LD1 and LOD2. The LD2 models are made same way. Particle number divide 5, hair length multiply 2. Merge all the leaves together. Put it to LD2 collection. Copy the trunk here too. Don't forget copy normals from the half sphere to the leaves in LD1 and LD2. At last, export LOD models with LOD suffix. Back to Unity, let's drag models to the scene, create a parent game object for them. Give leaf and trunk their materials. Select parent game object, add LOD group component on it. Drag LOD0 models to LOD0. Drag LOD1 models to LOD1. Drag LOD2 models to LOD2. Let's check the result. Here I just show my way to do that. You can make the LOD models carefully to achieve seamless switch between adjacent levels. As the camera far away, the tree becomes low model and finally be caught. That's all. Hope this video could help you. Thanks for watching.